Hey, hey, hey. So, as you can see, I'm by myself because my wonderful co-hosts all are busy taking care of kid things. That's really, really important. As you know, school is around the corner and everybody's preparing. So we're just trying to get this, get it together. So my co-host Sandra is taking care of kids things. And oh, look, my co-host Jacob Reed is here. I'm going to add her to the stream. Hello, we're live. How are you?
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
Doing good. I got new hair. You know that means.
Girl, you know when you get new hair, it's just, it's just great.
Nikki, I'm going to start needing sponsorship because I can't keep up with how much this news keeps changing. Now, if I'm going to put new hair every time something happens, I'm going to need to start naming companies.
We do an experiment. Every time something changes during the week, we're just going to change our hair.
We're going to change our hair.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to be like, every time a show comes on, we have a different hair. You know why?
You know why?
It's so fluid.
Because something changed. And so since the news is constantly chaotically changing, it's going to reflect in our hairstyles.
I mean, I can't keep up.
I just can't
keep up. I can't do it.
We can't. We're going to be bald by Christmas.
Listen, let's introduce ourselves to the people.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Narnique Nikki Grant for Race and Racism. But we're going to talk about that. Race and the Races, okay? And my beautiful co-host, Kay Jacobs Reed. We are missing one co-host. She will try to get on, but like I mentioned when I got on, we're close to school starting, so there's a lot going on. And especially now in Florida, we are now the epicenter. Our COVID cases are very high with the variant. So, there's a lot of testing and, shot taking, all of that going on. So it's just going to be the two of us today.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be the two of us today. And Kay, I want you to introduce let me finish introducing myself. So I am Narnique Nikki Grant. I was a former candidate for school board, turned, kid activist or Black activist, wherever you want to call it. Because, I'm unapologetically Black. And I'm about my peoples. But the reason for this show and why we are here is because of the injustices of Black people in this country. And it really was one day I was talking to Sandra, our co-host who's not here, and how frustrated I was with Breonna Taylor and then George Floyd. And we were like, you know what? We have to find a platform to talk about this, get people involved, because the way we change things is through laws and legislation. So we came up with this and we decided to move this on. Kay came on after we had her on our show. We felt that she was a great addition. And so here we are, and we're here talking. We've been talking for weeks, months, and we're at it again. So it's weekly Wednesdays. If you like this page, we want you to click, like, share, and subscribe. If you want to learn how to participate in the political process as a Black American, but aren't very political, this is the show for you, okay? We will talk about all things race and races. See, I'm doing it again. Race and the races. Elections, legislation, and keep you all up to date, informed, and get you actionable items to do on your own to help facilitate your political participation. This is what this show is all about. So I'm going to send it over to my co-host, Kay, so she can go ahead and introduce herself and tell you what she all about. Because she advocates too, honey. She advocates.
Yes. So hi, my name is Kay Jacobs Reed. For y'all that don't know me, I am a mom, a teacher, and a community activist for persons with disabilities. Narnique and I actually met when she was running for school board. And, I was interviewing all the candidates, and I was so impressed with just the fact that she had this just community experience, being involved in the BTA, being the mom of 5 kids from this beautiful Haitian background, educated Black woman, and was really out there trying to make a difference in our community. So I feel like, Nikki, this extension is just a continuation of who you are. And I feel so blessed and pleased to be here. And my angle is I really like to bring in the addition of the lives and needs and the angle from a disability group. And, speaking as a parent of 2 children with disabilities, and both of my sons have autism, but if you know autism, you like to say, if you know one person with autism, you know one person with autism, because it is so different. And then having friends of kids with, Asperger's or Down syndrome or emotional behavior disorder and, learning disorders and ADHD. There's so many things in our community and so many people in our community who have children and family members, brothers and sisters who are affected by these disabilities. And as Nikki said, this is all also impacts politics. And so our legislators and our leaders, our politicians need to be representing us because of our race, us because of economics, but also us because of who we are based on nationality, our ethnic origin, culture, and our family situations. So I love the fact that we have this show as our opportunity to say, hey, here's what's going on. Hey, here's something new that you might not know from Kay's Corner. And also, as Nikki said, here's what you can do about it.
All right. And I see our co-host jumped in. You look at her multitasking. Let me add her in here.
Hey, Sandra. Love it. Hey, babe.
Hey, how y'all doing? What's up? How's it going?
Girl, out in these COVID streets, in these Delta variant COVID streets.
Oh my God, in these COVID streets. These people got me in these COVID streets.
Girl,
yeah, I'm just popping in to let people know that we're here. I know you guys got it all under control and everything like that, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm definitely here. I'm watching. I hear all the great things that you guys are saying.
All right.
Once I get into the urgent care, then I got to get off. But yeah, as I ride myself back over there, hopefully I'll be there like in the next 5 minutes or so.
All right, we gonna wait on
you. Sandra, please be safe, be healthy, love.
Yeah, be careful.
Absolutely.
You gonna pop back in, right?
Prayers.
Yeah, I'll pop back in if I can, but I know you guys can hold down the fort.
Yeah, of course. We're
gonna hold it down.
Right, we got you.
Okay.
All right. See you in a bit.
Talk to you later.
All right. Prayers day. Be safe.
Okay.
Yeah, I was sharing with Nikki and Sandra, my husband was back in court this week. And for those of you guys who haven't heard, it did come around. Luckily, he was in the children's court, so it wasn't the courthouse that he was in. But COVID was actually spreading through one of the courthouses in the Miami-Dade County court system. So, it is really back out there. I know a lot of people think like, oh, it's not going to affect me. But you have to realize like that Delta variant, Florida has the highest right now percentage of people who have been exposed to the variant. And we really are back at risk. Like we're going backwards to like it was day one. We really need to take precautions. And something I was sharing with Nikki and we will talk about later is the fact that I am vaccinated. My husband's vaccinated. My 70-year-old mother's vaccinated. My 18-year-old son's vaccinated. Guess who's not vaccinated? My 7-year-old. And so I'm out here, like you said, in these streets masked up, not for me, because they say if I get sick, I'll be okay. Mm-hmm. But what happens if I get sick and I bring it to him? I'm not willing to wish my baby's life.
This Delta variant is not nice to the young. It's not nice to the young. And
yes.
While we're still in the early stages in terms of knowing what this new mutation is all about, we have cases. There's one here in Coral Springs where this child who's 15 years old, no pre-existing condition, has been in the ICU for 20 days. COVID. Her mom is fully vaccinated. She was in a process of getting vaccinated, and this poor child caught COVID. How she caught it, we don't know. And listen, I am not one to complain and talk about people being vaccinated, not vaccinated.
Your choice.
I'm not about that. What I'm about is safety. And I feel that those who are vaccinated, those who are unvaccinated still should wear their mask and still should use precaution. This, as we can see, that this virus mutates. And this is
stronger now, right? It's not just a different variation. They said something like 100 times worse as far as how it attacks your body.
It's more
contagious. With like speed and intensity.
Absolutely. And not only that, but the Delta variant is not the only variant. There's some mutations out there that we're not aware of yet that may not be in our region. But the point is that we have to have precautions. The school board is doing their meeting right now, having that discussion of what it's going to look like. Everybody's trying to do what's best for everyone, but sometimes you have those who come in and perpetuate the big lie of the former president. And because of that, we see these low vaccination rates. We see these anti-vaxxers or the anti-maskers, as they want to say. I don't really want to deal with those labels, because I feel like people have the right to do what they want to do.
Yes.
But I also believe that people have the responsibility to make sure that they protect not only their family, but those around them. Because at the end of the day, whether you have your home or not, you still got to go out in these streets and be around people. So, why not just bake masks up and just keep it moving? But we'll get to that segment, because that's our third segment.
Right. We got to get started at the beginning.
Let's talk about KKK.
Do I need to change my wig already? There's something. I'm in the middle of a show, just pulling the air out.
Let's talk about Representative Alex Rizzo, or Rizzo or whatever, from Republican from Hialeah.
Yes.
And these are for our Florida peeps. If you're in Florida, we're talking about Florida politics. We do delve into other states. And the reason we do that, because whether you believe it or not, looking at other states and how they run things, especially their senators, they affect us too. Yeah,
there seems to be a pattern in the Republican Party. So you definitely got to keep your eye open for what's going on across the country, because it's like they have one playbook. And it has now come back to Senator Rizzo. You want to tell him about his amazing plan, Nikki?
So Representative Rizzo, who is out of Hialeah in Miami, so we're talking about Dade County, he has decided that he is going to, for the next legislative session coming up in 2022, he's decided to, he's filed HB 11. So let me break down HB 11 for y'all for a little bit, okay?
Yes, please.
I'm gonna break it down. So if HB 11 is passed, this is what it says. It would be a second-degree misdemeanor charge with a $500 fine and or 60 days in jail for anyone who is hindering law enforcement officers as they carry out their duties, which includes cell phone video.
So we know where this is coming from.
So here's my thing. If it were not for cell phone videos, Black people would not be taken seriously today. Cell phone videos are a lifeline. And I mean this with every serious bone in my body. I mean this with all sincerity, that if it were not for these cell phone videos, we would our race would be exterminated at a rate that we couldn't comprehend. And we would have nothing. We would have no recourse. We would have no proof. These so-called body cameras that these police officers wear, they're turning them off. They're turning the audio off, or they turn it off completely. And so cell phone cameras are our lifeline. If it wasn't for a cell phone camera, George Floyd's murderer would not be serving time today.
Correct.
If it weren't for cell phone cameras, what was the other gentleman that was caught with the cell phone? Oh, the very first one that was here in Florida, I think it was, where the police officer shot the man in the back and he was running away from him and he threw the gun next to him. If it wasn't for a cell phone camera, albeit grainy, but it showed everything.
It did.
And so cell phone video is our only safe haven.
I mean, even what we talked about last week with the Victoria's Secret incident, if she did not have that cell phone video, it is what has become the universal, evidence that this is actually happening to us.
And because
why would we want to take that away? I thought Americans had the right.
Well, apparently HB 1, if passed, will not be a right here in Florida. And so it further says that anyone that comes within 30 feet of an officer after being warned to stay away can be arrested. What you gonna videotape 30 feet away?
Do I need a tape measure to carry in my pocketbook?
I'm just saying,
How far is 30 feet?
See that far.
What?
Even with Zoom, what you talking about? So you basically want police officers to run amok. And here's the thing, and this is why it's so important for you to be part of this process.
Yes.
We have a bill at the federal level for police reform. We have a bill at the federal level for voting rights. We have a bill at the federal level for anti-lynching. Would you think that we should have a bill for anti-lynching? But we got to have one, okay? And right now, your senators, okay, we can't even get them passed because of the filibuster. It boggles my mind. So we have.
And I also think it shows the importance of, you can't say, oh, well, as Alex Pizzo, I don't live in Hialeah. But guess what? Alex Pizzo's legislation affects everybody in Florida. So when someone runs for senator or someone runs for the House, that's really all of our business, because whatever they say and do, this is not just a rule for Hialeah. This is a rule for all of Florida. So we all have to get involved and let this man know, like, no, you can't do this. You can't take away my personal rights. You can't take over our state and tell, like, this has to be absolutely unacceptable. And just like we saw with this anti-protest legislation, the minute it gets passed, all of a sudden the tables are going to turn. And
that was the representative from Miami, by the way, that brought in that anti-protest bill.
Isn't he the same guy?
The anti-voter suppression bill. All these people from Miami, honey. So everybody from Key West all the way to the Panhandle are subject to these legislations from somebody in one county. Let that sink in, okay? Let that sink in. That's why just because you live in Broward don't mean that you shouldn't be nosy in any politics, right? Just because you live in Broward or Dade doesn't mean that you can't go into West Palm Beach politics and find out what's going on, because these people will go to Tallahassee.
Yes.
Your life will live in hell.
And I'm not, and as Nikki said, I'm going to take it further, not even just be nosy and know what's going on. I'm going to start talking about financially supporting, endorsing, backing, getting involved, volunteering for campaigns, canvassing, phone banking. You know why? Because it affects you and your family, no matter where you live in Florida. So we all have to be really, really cognizant of how this process works and start getting involved with these people who will affect our lives.
Now, this HB 11, I'm going to keep saying it so you all can go look that up. We had some Broward County Police Benevolent Association, the president of that, and let's see what he had to say about it. He said, his name is Rod, it's hard to pronounce his last name, but it's Skirvin, Skirvin, the president of the Broward County Police Benevolent Association. He said, and I quote, "I don't think there is any problem with recording the police. I think everyone should be able to do that, but I don't think you need to be in their face to do it." I agree with that. Dunshot Morris of Fort Lauderdale stated, "I think they are trying to hide something, like you don't want people recording. Why, if you're not doing anything wrong?"
But they're recording you when you're at the traffic light, when you go in Walmart, but they're recording you. That's my thing.
Yeah.
So I can't record you, but you can record me? The police have a dash cam video. I'm being recorded. I didn't consent to that. I didn't write that. I didn't ever sign off as a citizen that was okay. But that's just what the police departments decided to implement. Is that a violation of my rights? How is it okay for me to be recorded, but I can't record you?
Your dash cam is recording me and is not
recording you.
Investigate it's not stopping you from your investigation. So how come your recording is okay, but my recording is
not? That's what I'm saying. Everybody, the red light camera is recording me. When I walk in Walgreens, the camera is recording me. Everybody's being recorded everywhere. How is this one? And I'm not trying to say like their police is just one. How do you target one group of people and say they can't be recorded? We even have new legislation that was recording some teachers in specific classrooms. So now we have, that is just where we are as a society. It's a way of life. And as we have seen, like you said, Nikki, these recordings have proven that it in some instances necessary when incidents happen, whether it be abuse in schools, whether it be, in shopping malls and stores and justice is there, whether it be police brutality, whether it be, just people going about their daily business being harassed on the streets. It is what it is. And I think it's a tool that's necessary if we're going to really start working to dismantle some of the systemic racism in our country. So when you start wanting to pull the rule back over, what does that say as a state? What are we trying to do?
I'm still on how it's hindering your job. I'm still on that.
How does it hinder your job? I'm not even interacting with you.
Stopping you from your investigation. I'm not in your investigation.
No one's even involved.
They need to prove to me that it's hindering your investigation. You need to make that make sense. That's what you need to do. You need to make that
standing 10 feet away from you, not talking to you, not interacting with you, just going like this. How does that, just doing this, how does that
I just want to
in any way affect you?
You need to make it make
sense.
And
if that's the fact, then how do you shop in Walgreens? How do you get your shopping done? How do you stop at the red light?
His sole thing is that it's hindering law enforcement officers as they carry out their duties. I'd like to know how that is okay. They have a dash camera, they have a body camera. That don't stop them from carrying out their duties or doing their investigation. I have my camera and I'm just 5 to 10 feet behind you. And you know what? Yes, some of us talk mess while we have the videos. Right. And I agree that, if you are videotaping, you don't need to be in the police officer's face. I get it, because if you
agree with that, because you got the videotape. I agree with that.
When you got the camera, you don't need to be in these people's faces. Right. So I agree with that part. But what I don't agree with is saying that I got to be 30 feet and I shouldn't even be videotaping. No.
The legislation said you can't get in an officer's face while they're in the process of conducting official police business. We would understand that. They're in the middle of doing their job. I can't get in their face. I would understand that. I don't want a student in my face while I'm teaching. Nobody can do their job with someone in their face.
Absolutely.
So that makes logical sense to me. I don't understand how somebody standing way over here with a camera has anything to do with me doing my job. I can still do it.
We
have a request to share the video.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to share it now. I'm just, what I'm saying is where is the hindrance? Where is it? Where's the hindrance?
Nikki, we can't make logic out of illogical. It's not possible. Don't even try. You can't make it logical.
You just need to explain to me where's the hindrance. The minute you can explain to me where the hindrance is, and you haven't found a way to kind of mitigate that and still allow people to videotape, I don't want to hear it. And here's the thing: Black people do not stop videotaping. Okay. Videotape to your life, because your life depends on it. It depends on it. And that's sad.
But it's true.
And I'm not even over exaggerating. I wish I was over exaggerating, but I can't. I can't say I'm over exaggerating. Your life literally depends on it. And
so I can't help but think
in the process
how some of these cases would be different if there were more video, right? Breonna Taylor, I can't help but think if we would have had it from a different perspective, maybe there would have been some real justice in that case too. Because we know what happened. We really know what happened. But it seems like the only times we truly have a good chance at getting justice is when there's video. Because for some reason, eyewitness testimony and using physical evidence and data doesn't seem to be enough.
I mean, look at the George Floyd case.
Mm-hmm. Without that video,
I know we all spoke during the trial. We all watched it in its entirety. And I have to tell you, the fact that we even had a trial was sickening to me. Because if you saw any angle of that video, and what was worse is that there was angles of the video from other angles from other cameras that we didn't see, and it was worse for me. Okay? It was worse because you had the angle off the building where you could see them, all three of them on top of him. We only saw the two in the front. We didn't see the third guy that much because when the other ones were trying to come around, get back on the sidewalk, so we couldn't see all of that. And if it wasn't for cameras or this wonderful girl And unfortunately, I heard some bad news from her, like her uncle had passed away, I think in the hands of police officers. The same girl that showed the George Floyd video. It's just heartache after heartache. And I send my condolences to her family. But if this young, brave woman did not show her video, George Floyd's death would have been just the regular deaths with black and brown, unarmed, male and female, and our babies, and nothing would have came of it. So now you have legislation with these Republicans. Now they want to try to hide everything. And the other hot button thing is critical race theory. And people need to understand what that means. Y'all need to go research and understand what that means, okay? It doesn't mean we all black. It means telling the truth. And white people just not comfortable with the truth. I mean, it's your truth, not our truth. It's your truth, but you don't want to talk about your truth. You don't want to tell the truth. So HB1 is something we need to watch and look for. Obviously, this is not going to die down. It's in its early stages, which means those who live in Florida, you have the time right now to reach out to your representatives and make it very, very clear that this is unacceptable. I know that we are at a minority. And what I mean by that is that the Republicans have a majority number and the Democrats have a minority number. But you still got to raise hell. And you still got to make some noise, okay? You just never know whose mind you might change. So we always have that in the back of our pocket. So this District 20 congressional race has grown once again. Who says that? Who says it like that? Oh, Bill Cosby. Once again. You're muted.
I'm sorry, Nikki, I got to go. I'm going to go get in a District 20 race. I got to go put my name in. Wait. How many we got? 300?
I'm about to put my name in too. Since
I need you to. You didn't get your. I think that's where Sandra's going.
Oh, she gonna give
her way to. Yeah.
I don't blame her. I don't blame her because everybody in my name.
Everybody's got to put their name in.
Woo, child! It's 20 people in total.
15 Dems, right?
15 Democrats. You got 5 Republicans, 3 NPAs, and 1 Libertarian. So I went down and got the names because I want people to be able to go research these names. All right. So these are in alphabetical order, and there are no preference to us as a group. Not for me. I have no opinion on on anybody, one way or the other. And so because I'm saying them in this order doesn't mean that that's who my first pick is. It's just in alphabetical order. Okay. The first candidate, Natalia Allen. I looked up her picture. She is cute as a button. And she's young. So, and I'm all about young people running for office. I really am. I'm all about that. Second name candidate. These are the Democrats, by the way. I'm starting off with the Democrats. Gonna work my way down. Dwight Anderson. Third is Matt Boswell. Fourth is Sheila Sheffilis. Fifth is Elvin Dowling. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. The next one is Bobby DeBose. That's a name that people know. Amari Hardy. That's another name that people know. Dale Holness. Popular name too. There's someone by the name of Phil Jackson. There's a Crystal Jordan. There's some women up in here. Okay. Emmanuel Morel. Barbara Sharif. Priscilla Taylor. Perry Thurston. And the last name is Pradell Vilime. Vilme. And I don't want to butcher the name, but it's Vilme. First name spelled Pradel. So those are your Democrats. Your Republicans are Vic D. Gramont. That's VICDEGRAMMONT. Your second name for the Republicans is Ronald Flores. That's spelled FLOREZ. Your next Republican is LaTeresa Jones. LATERESA. So I'm assuming that's LaTeresa. Okay, LaTeresa Jones. Next on your Republican list is Wayne Musselwhite. I like that last name, Musselwhite. All right. Next one is Bernard Bernard, your last name is very difficult, so I'm going to spell it just in case you're watching this, okay? It's Sansaric. Didn't want to try to say it or pronounce it because I didn't want to butcher your name. All right, that is your 5 Republicans. Here are your NPAs. These are the non-party affiliates, okay? Shelley Fain, Robert Ornelas, I'm going to spell it, Ornelas. The next one is Leonard Sarrator, Sarratore. And your lowly libertarian is Mike Termaat, Termaat. So these are your 20 candidates running for the Congressional District 20. Those areas include, Kay, if you can help me out, because I know you're pretty good with those areas. What is District 20?
So this is really big and kind of like it basically curves around the west side, the back side of Broward County. It starts in Miramar and encompasses all of Miramar, goes around and scoops up some West Sunrise, goes back up a little bit, and we get some of the west side of Palm Beach County. So you have areas like Belgrade and a little bit and I'm sure I'm missing some of the cities, but basically it is 2 counties along the western border of those counties. So it misses Pines, it misses Weston, it does not include Parkland and things like that. So it kind of dips in and out all along the west side of both of those 2 counties.
Ridiculous. But
she's running too.
Carla, you need to let us know what party you with, boo. She's joking.
I know she's joking. But you know what? It's so crazy. Now, here's the thing. I will commend Karen Fortman. Karen Fortman is the president of the Council of Club Presidents for the Broward Democratic Party. She has been working with me as president of Miramar Democratic Club and a couple of other really good dedicated local Dems. And we are going to put together a candidate forum because we know that people do not have time to come home after your real job and do like 15 nights worth of homework trying to research all these candidates. Now, of course, that would be the thing to do. But y'all, for real now, we all actually have real lives and actual paying jobs and real kids that we need to take care of, and like elders, parents, whoever. Basically, you got a whole life. And so what we're going to do is try to make this a little bit easier for you. We're going to come out with a town hall of 2 nights because, you can't even get 15 people on one night. But a town hall of 2 nights to cover different issues. The first night is going to be like social justice, environment, and national and state issues. The second night, state and local issues. The second night is going to be like national and international issues, taxes, humanitarian efforts, because this is a congressional seat. This is not something local. So this is a big, big deal. And it's got to be, what are they going to do for us locally? But this, what are your, what's your opinion of what's going on in Israel? What's your opinion about the border at Mexico? What do you think about taxation and the new taxation? Like, what are you going to do for people? What about healthcare? Remember, again, we're choosing a congressman in District 20. That person's decision affect the whole country. Kay's going to bring it with some education questions. Kay's going to bring it with some disability questions. I've already proposed some questions on immigration, as well as proposed some questions on social justice. And so we are going to get together, and Nikki and Sandra and Carla, or anybody else out there, if you're interested in submitting some questions, definitely hit me up, IM me, DM me. I'm on Instagram.
I already have questions about, I already have questions about the Black woman. Y'all, what y'all doing?
Yeah, and also, right now, Haiti, Cuba, where does this person stand? Obviously, that is important because of, protecting democracy and supporting democracy internationally. But for us locally, that actually touches our real lives, right? That touches us here where we live, through our families, through our students, through our neighbors, and through the possible, immigration ramifications of whatever decision this nation makes. And so I think those type of things, we need to know where people stand. And my personal spin is also, I'm like Janet Jackson. What have you done for me lately? What kind of legislation I don't want to be talking about some idea you had. Like, what have you actually done, boots on the ground? Have you passed previous legislation in whatever job you're in? If you're not a politician, what have you done as a community activist? Like, not you went and, so you went and volunteered for Nikki's campaign. I want to hear what Nikki did. Mm-hmm. I want to hear what you did as a candidate. So we are going to bring it to them in this town hall. And I encourage all of you to look, like I said, if you're in District 20, definitely you need to pay attention. But guess what? Even if you're not in District 20, this person's going to affect your life. So I encourage everybody to join in for that. Like, shoot us questions in advance. I'm more than happy to submit your questions. But yeah, it's going to be important because whatever they say.
Very, very thankful for you and Karen Fortman and others
thank you.
for taking this initiative. I think this is extremely important. And it's good to have everyone in a space where everybody has an opportunity to see everyone at the same time and ask important questions. So I really, really appreciate you all taking this initiative. I don't think that without these local clubs and these local club presidents, people will get this information. So this is very important. And I thank you and thank Karen and all the others who have put this together, because I have to tell you, 15 Democrats, 5 Republicans, 3 NPAs, and your libertarian, that's a lot of people. And I hope that the Republicans, as well as the MPAs and the Libertarian, take this opportunity to come on your platform as well and voice their opinion. Because at the end of the day, you may register as you register, but as you can see, both parties, one's better. One depends on where y'all coming from.
Depends on the issue.
Depends on the issue.
A lot of issues.
One that's superior to the other.
And right now we see Joe Manchin, who has a D next to his name, but I'm not really sure what that D means.
Him and his girlfriend, what's her name? Siemena, whatever her name is. I don't like her either. She's sitting there wasting space. Both of them.
So it's really important that we get the real. And last thing, we know this job tends to be a long position. You know that whoever you pick, it's no guarantees, but whoever you pick, more than likely is going to be there for quite some time. Right. We have to pick somebody who's going to do the right thing for South Florida and for this nation. We this is imperative. We need to get this right.
It needs to be someone who has the heart of a servant, not someone who's trying to get over or who has political aspirations later on in the line. We need someone who has a heart of a servant, period.
Proven.
So I'm looking forward to the town hall. I'm so happy that you mentioned it. As soon as you have your dates and your times, please make sure we are able to tell everyone so they can get their questions ready, because I'm going to have questions. And I wish I could be able to be up on the panel too, but shall I digress?
All right. Yes, please send me your questions as soon as possible, because we're going to start putting those together. Like I said, it's in September.
Carla's excited. So Carla, please send Kay your questions, sis, because it takes a village, boo. It takes a village. So Kay, what do you have for your corner today?
Babe, we just talked yesterday.
Okay. Sis.
However, I have some news. I was going to say good news. I'm going to try to be a little bit impartial and say news. You know where I stand. So the school board met again today.
Sure did.
And it was not a workshop. It was a school board meeting.
Sure was.
And there was a vote. And so what I, in addition to like the 18 hats I wear, I am also on the ESC Parent Advisory Board for Broward County Schools. And so and we have a chair who I will have to say, Jackie, I give all props to you. Jackie stays on it like it is her paying job, which it is not. We are all volunteers. We are all parents of kids with disabilities who are students in the Broward County school system. She stayed in touch, she stayed on it, and she was very adamant that as a board, we agree that masking is necessary. And let me tell you why. It has nothing to do with me personally, because again, like I said, I'm vaccinated. So now you know. But remember, I can still catch it. I can still get like a little cold, However, I don't know if you guys realize, I see 235 students every 2 days, 235 of someone else's babies, right? And maybe one of them, because of religious beliefs, and I'm not speaking for anybody, I'm going to talk about my family. My grandfather was a Jehovah's Witness. And I know that some of his practices were very different than some of my practices as a Baptist. I need to respect each and every child's parents' perspective and their choice. I must, as a teacher, do everything I can to make sure those children have access to a healthy and safe and productive school environment. So I'm going to wear a mask every day, not to keep Calibra safe, but to keep everybody else in that classroom safe. And I'm actually really proud of our school board for standing up and making that decision. Number one, because I think it is the right thing for me to do. I know that I have an elderly neighbor who's a phenomenal reading teacher who taught my child to read from up 2 grade levels of her dedication. I can't afford for her to get sick because what she's doing for kids. But really, even more importantly, I also am the parent of a 7-year-old. And I know Nikki has some young kids too. I was, and Nikki heard me talk about this yesterday. Nick, you can vouch for me. I was legitimately concerned about sending my child back to school before he can be vaccinated. Y'all will have to come get me if something happened to my child, because I would not be okay. And what I couldn't understand, because I know people were like burning masks outside the school building. I'm like, again, if that's what you want to do.
With signs spelling things incorrectly and you at a school board.
I saw that. I didn't want to say anything. I'm just saying,
with a C.
If you come into the school board, it might be best to spell check. But anyway, I digress. As a parent, I had some real concerns about my own child's safety, and I'm not trying to infringe on anybody's liberty, but my child also has the right to being a safe school environment. Because remember, by law, I have to send him to school. If I just let him be truant, I can end up in jail.
Absolutely.
So if the law says I got to send him to school, then the school board should have the responsibility to make sure that is the safest environment that they can possibly provide. They can't build a bubble and put in pure oxygen. We can't do that. But what we can do is require everyone to wear a mask to make sure it is as safe as possible. And then as a parent, it's on me to decide at a later time if and when I can get my child vaccinated. I was mentioning to Nikki that, Down syndrome is on the CDC list of disabilities that put you at a greater risk. As an advocate for children with disabilities, as a parent of children with disabilities who has friends with Down syndrome, those kids have the right to be in the same safe school environment. And remember, our governor is saying, number one, unlike that, we can't do e-learning. If you want to do e-learning, you got to sign up for Broward Virtual or Florida Virtual. Nikki, did you know that ESC kids in special SVE, not all ESC, but SVE, which is specialized, right? Did you know that online learning is not available to them? Not available. There is no BVS for my child's SVE classroom. That doesn't exist. So basically you've said, and parents, you need to understand this, if your child does get COVID, right now, according to the governor, there is no option for doing e-learning as they're recovering from home. They're just going to miss 2 to 3 weeks of school. And the district is supposed to be penalized if they provide that option. The governor has also said he will penalize any district that mandates masks. So now we know Miami-Dade has mandated masks and Broward, as of today, has mandated masks. And I, again, applaud the bravery of our school board members for saying, like, we got to do what's right. We're going to work, DeSantis, we're just going to have to deal with that. And it's going to have to be what it's going to be. I really applaud the bravery of those ladies because I feel like they really did have my child's safety.
Matter. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yes.
Elections matter. Let me tell you something. This is why I push so hard, and as well as Kay and Sandra. Being part of the process, you have a seat at the table, okay? This man is basically saying, to hell with kids with disabilities.
Yes. We have no options.
To hell with the kids who don't have pre-existing conditions, because you have people who are out there saying, oh, well, kids with who don't have pre-existing conditions don't get affected. To hell with those kids. That's basically what they're saying. Okay. All right. And this man doubles down. He don't care. His kids are home, probably vaccinated. Okay, probably got extra. You in the government, you high up, you get extra. You get a little extra something. All right. So you basically telling all these people to hell with y'all. This is what we doing. And my problem is, and why I push so much, is that elections have consequences. You got to be part of the process. You need to be at the table. You need to be the one to say, hey, you represent me too. So what about me? And the group that he's pandering to is not even the majority. It's not even the majority. Elections matter.
And this same group is the same group who's decided they wanted e-learning to go away, right? But then they decided they don't want masks. So basically, you causing this whole cyclical problem. If you don't want to wear a mask, then at least allow e-learning so my baby can be safe, right?
Right.
Or wear a mask and then we don't need e-learning. But so it just like, to me, it's not even
one of the school board members, Donna Corn, stated, saying, you know what, when we were in quarantine, one of the main things you guys were saying, we want our kids back in school. We want our kids back in school. Make it safe, and we want our kids back in school. Well, here we are. We're making them come back in school. We're doing what is safe and what is good for the children and everybody else involved, our employees and all that other stuff or whatever. It's almost like she wanted to say, we doing what you asked, you ain't happy. When you had it before, you were complaining about it. Now I'm giving it to you, now you got a problem with it. Which is I can't make you happy.
And they're doing things that hurt other kids. It's like, well, I get it. Again, for many different reasons, you may choose to not vaccinate. That's solely your business. But where is the responsibility for kids like my baby? My baby matters too. My baby matters. His friends matter. And I'll never forget this year, I had a student, I'm going to call him CA because I'm not going to use his real name. He had asthma. He stayed home all year. I mean, this is an active kid, one of the officers in ROTC. He was in student government. He wanted to come to school. He's very active. But the fact is, coming to school risked his life. So he stayed home until he could get vaccinated. Great. He got vaccinated. He chose to come back. But his mother has a newborn baby. So now, if there's no masks, where does that leave him? Does he maybe get sick and still he has asthma, severe asthma, so still have the choice of maybe getting really sick, but what about that baby? And how does that family live through? Well, again, legally we had to send our child to school, and because of that, we lost our baby. Nobody wants to be in that position. The school board morally does not want to be in that position, and I'm sure financially they do not want to be in that position. I wish Sandra were here to talk about the legal ramifications of that.
Okay. So I just want to say, DeSantis opposes, that's his name, DeSantis opposes any attempt from the federal government to mandate masks among school children in the upcoming school year. He just blatantly was like, I oppose it. Meanwhile, Florida leads the country in COVID reinsurgent cases. He threatens to call an emergency session if the federal government mandates a mask, but advocates for the vaccine. Make it make sense.
Yes, he said federal government or any local school districts.
Make it make sense. You said you're gonna get a special session so you can just make sure we're not making don't wear no mask, but then you pushing vaccine. I'm confused. Do you want to what you want? Because if your goal is to minimize or even shrink the numbers of COVID cases, that would mean you mandate masks and you advocate for the vaccine.
And the vaccine, again, remember, like, that's fine for me. I'm high school. If I were selfish, I'd be like, okay, no problem. But guess what? 12 years old, that just stops at middle school. What about all these babies in elementary school? They're not protected. They don't have the opportunity to get a vaccine yet. I was talking to one of our really good friends. Nikki knows who I'm talking about, but she is an epidemiologist. And I called her personally and said, like, hey, what do you think about the vaccines? Or you think they're going to have one before so I can send Caleb back to school in person? She said, look, Kay, the honest truth is we probably will not have a vaccine for kids before school starts. We're looking to have one this fall, probably before December. So our elementary school babies will not have the same protections, at least until December. What are we going to do as a society to make sure that they're okay? The hospitals are full of children.
And what about the teachers?
Yes.
It's one thing for the babies to get it. And according to science, the babies don't get affected as much, but I don't know about with this new variant.
Yeah, that's not true. They say the hospitals are full of children. My mom told me today there was a 21-year-old that got a double lung transplant.
Oh, I think that was Sandra was talking about that. Yeah.
Okay.
It was Sandra that, yes, 24-year-old.
24-year-old.
And then we have a teenager, a 15-year-old in Coral Springs Medical Center who has
right here
ICU for 20 days.
So you can't say it doesn't affect kids anymore.
The child was fine. She was a bouncing baby girl, 15 years old, and she's stuck in the ICU. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's one of my kids. That's the age of my school students. And so now, on top of being sick, on top of that, probably could have been prevented through vaccine or mask. On top of all that, she doesn't even have access to education. She's just going to be gone out of school. And we couldn't, even if she were at home and had the opportunity to just come in and watch, not saying that she's going to do it when she's really sick, but even when she comes out of the hospital, this child's going to need to be at home recovering. Why are we denying the opportunity?
And we don't even know what the long-term effects are from COVID.
I do. I was just at the ER. I do. You want to talk about long haulers? I was still there this past weekend. My lungs swole up. Why? We don't know. Why are my lungs inflamed? Do you know when I had COVID? August of last year. Why am I still getting long haulers? Why am I continually going to the emergency room, having to pay exorbitant emergency room costs? And to go there and have them tell me, oh yeah, this is common with people who had COVID. We don't know why this keeps happening to you. This is not a flu, people. You don't get the flu, and 1 year later, your lungs are inflamed. The lining of your lungs are inflamed because of a flu. I don't know what COVID is, but I pray to God, I wish I never had it, and I hope you never get it. Please protect yourself unless you want to be going to the ER off and on a year later with $500 every time you go. If you got flow like that, then okay.
Disgusting.
Yeah, right.
But then the Satan out here saying that they don't want nobody wearing no mask. Listen, elections have consequences.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, this man won by 10-something thousand votes or whatever. Foolery. Because if this was a what is his name again? What was the one who was running against him again at the time?
Oh, Andrew Gillum.
If this was a Gillum administration, we wouldn't be no epicenter today. I'm just letting y'all know.
The thing is, what Nikki's saying is so true, and it's not. We have an election coming up in 2022.
He got to go,
correct?
He has to go.
But even before that, the fact is, in order for him to win, he needs more than just Republican votes. He needs Democratic votes, and that is actually how he won. He got many Democratic votes out of Miami-Dade County. He needs that to happen again. People, if you're out there listening and you're contacting him, telling him, hey, I'm not going to vote for you if you're going to make my children or my grandchildren or my neighbors unsafe, you still have the opportunity to make change. As Nikki said, what can you do right now? Just send a quick tweet. You don't have to go to Tallahassee. Just tweet at Ron DeSantis. He's going to see it
all day.
Send a text.
Yes.
Call the office. He's not going to pick up. You ain't got to worry about it. He's going to go to his secretary, leave a message. It's not about your personal message. It's about how many people are calling saying, hey, my kid matters. I just need you to keep my kid safe. You're going to have to do better than this. Those numbers add up. So, Nikki, later on, we can maybe put some of those Twitter handles or things like that. I'll look up a phone number we could put in the comments.
And tweet him all day.
You got to get involved. And we got to just quickly take a stand. Look, Nick, now don't go on Black Twitter and be putting comments about what, Lala Anthony is wearing, and you didn't go ahead and put a comment on DeSantis.
You can comment on Lala Anthony anytime you want, and she'll still get it. But this man right here, he needs to be dragged. We want Black Twitter to drag this Satan. Yes. Okay, we want him to be dragged on Twitter.
One first. So, then you can talk about Lala and what she has on.
All day long. So we're gonna go ahead and shift gears to our Cassidy Corner chat.
Okay.
Lord, it's just the caucasity for me. It's the caucasity. So our caucasity corner is usually made up of white people doing things that just don't make no sense, and we got to talk about it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Megyn Kelly.
Okay.
See, Megyn, what you're not going to do is come for one of us and not think she don't have backup. And she didn't even listen. She came for Naomi Osaka. Naomi Osaka didn't ask for no backup, but she got it. Okay. Tiffany Cross. If you guys don't watch Tiffany Cross, she comes on Saturday morning, I think at 9 or 10 a.m. on MSNBC.
You can just Google Megyn Kelly, Naomi Osaka. You'll see the videos.
Right. So, Naomi decided to pull out of Wimbledon, out of the French Open, and she said that she did it for her mental health. Mm-hmm. She got a lot of support. All of us was here for it. We were like, yeah, girl, because they will replace you anyway. You ain't important to them. We all about you taking care of your mental health. Anyway, beautiful Naomi did some spreads on some magazines. I mean, it was beautiful for the magazine covers. She was flawless looking. The girl was beautiful. Girl. Oh my God, beautiful, beautiful. Anyway, Megyn Kelly, the connoisseur of blackface, yeah, I said it, decided that she was gonna come for Naomi and say, oh, well, you said that you was taking time off for your mental health, but you are here on magazine covers. I was gonna curse. It was right there on the tip. It was right there on the tip. Had to take it back. Had to take it back. Sis. Well, I'm not even gonna call you sis because you can't call me sis, so you don't get that privilege.
I just didn't understand, why is she on Karen patrol for Naomi Osaka? Why is she clocking her? Why is she not why Karen does Naomi patrol. Osaka need to even explain anything to Megyn Kelly? Like, who are you?
Not Karen patrol.
Karen patrol. She's on Karen patrol.
So she says what she says about Naomi. Naomi explained it in a tweet that she since deleted.
Right.
Then blocked Megyn Kelly. Oh, Megyn Kelly didn't like that she was blocked, honey. She had to post it on every time. Oh, you don't like the questions, that's why you blocking me or whatever. Child, Tiffany Cross for the win. You know what? Let me find that video.
But and the thing too, Megyn Kelly is notorious for this. This is not the first time that she's done this. She's consistently saying something that's irresponsible and insensitive towards people of color. So, to say that, oh, no, this is not, no. We don't come for people who just did one thing that's like, oh, maybe they didn't understand. This is Megyn Kelly's MO. This is who she is as a person. And, expect to get called out. And why wouldn't we block you? Everybody needs to block Megyn Kelly.
Well, my thing is that once Megyn Kelly said that Jesus is a black man and so is Santa, I was done with her. Okay, I was done with her. I'm just trying to pull up the video because I want everybody to have the opportunity to listen to the read
from Tiffany Cross.
The Tiffany Cross she just made my spirit sing. You know what I mean?
Libraries, the doors of the library were open.
She
read. From
when I say you don't understand the read, but let the people hear.
Okay.
And I subscribe. I'm not talking for anybody else, but I subscribe to every word Tiffany said. We right here with her. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you all can see the beauty that is she. And so I'm waiting for my computer to work for me, and then we're going to enjoy that which is Tiffany Cross. And you all need to watch her her show. Absolutely amazing. All right, here we go. Can you see it, Kay?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Oh, wait.
To address something. Okay, so normally you guys know I use this time to address something or someone relevant who has warranted some sort of ire from the community. However, this week I'm taking a slightly different approach and addressing someone completely irrelevant. I'm speaking, of course, about Megyn Kelly. The 50-year-old bully is trying to bulldoze her way back into relevance that only comes to women like her for being a provocateur, not for offering any type of intellectual input. Nevertheless, here we are. Why? Because the blackface connoisseur who had to apologize for ridiculously asking why it was racist for white people to wear blackface for Halloween is now going after someone who's less than half her age, but has twice her intelligence. 23-year-old Naomi Osaka, who announced she would not participate in post-match conferences during the French Open, and ultimately ended up leaving altogether and withdrawing from Wimbledon, citing her own mental health. Now, Kelly accused Osaka of not being genuine after the tennis star beautifully graced the covers of multiple magazines, which were, of course, shot months prior, which Osaka explained in a since deleted tweet. Now, we reached out to Kelly's attorney for comment, but did not get a response. But when Osaka understandably blocked Kelly on Twitter, this woman said that Naomi just didn't like tough questions. Such insight from the land of the inconsequential. But also, girl, bye. First, shout out to all of you out there prioritizing your mental health, especially when dealing with someone who spews nonsense like this.
By the way, for all you kids watching at home, Santa just is white. Jesus was a white man too.
Okay. Second, to all you Karens watching at home, please make a list for your white Santa and pray to your white Jesus for a life. Please. Because we're out here living our best ones, fighting on the front lines to preserve democracy, taking up space at the highest levels of government, making long overdue and necessary changes in newsrooms, winning Emmys while twirling on our haters. We come from a long line of torchbearers, lighting fires that illuminate the world and burn away chains. So it's no coincidence that Snow White and the 7 dumb takes she's had recently overwhelmingly target Black women. The amazing luminary, Nicole Hannah-Jones, whom Kelly went after over the 1619 Project. The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, who Kelly said should stop whining about the treatment of baby Archie. Olympic hammer thrower Gwen Berry, who Kelly suggested be removed from the Olympics due to her protest. Kelly is really just trying to claw her way back into social relevance and into the hearts of Fox News viewers by regurgitating their favorite attacks, all while benefiting from the work that we do. We're quite used to it. But when it comes to us, sister, stop punching above your weight. You keep asking for this smoke that you really don't want. You want to act like a high school mean girl, and you'll get treated that way. Sit down, be humble, while our left stroke keeps going viral. Let the grown women speak. You're not invited to this table. No. You don't have the range. Okay, so normally you guys know I use this time to address...
You don't have the range, is what she said.
And let me officially close the doors of the library. The reading is complete. All has been said.
She's somewhere trying to pick up her. You know what she need. Whoever is her therapist, y'all gonna have to get paid double this whole rest of the month. Because Tiffany came and she left. She took all her edges. It's all gone. I was trying to check to see if mine was still available because, Lord, when she gathered her up, honey, she says inconsequential.
Yes. It's almost like this is now becoming her MO. It's true. I mean, like at one point, when I was a child, I remember Megyn Kelly being like maybe a real journalist who had actual stories to tell. And now it's just like, what is she sitting at home just waiting for Black women to do something? I don't understand. Bray, pull your own weight. Get out there as a real journalist and start reporting on things that matter to people and affect people's lives.
What are you doing?
Like you literally waiting for a Black woman to do something, and then you're like, and then Santa is Black. Santa's not real. I'm sorry if there's small children watching this, but you're a grown woman. Santa is no color because he's imaginary. So I don't know what you're even doing with that. It makes no sense.
It's the caucasity for me.
That's what the corner is called. So I guess
her caucasity. Because I'm telling you, if we were talking about a white athlete, her behind would have been like, oh, she needs time. She needs our support.
Yes, and that has happened in the past. There have been other athletes who said, yes,
come together.
They have to chill out. They have to regather, because you know what? Honestly, I have never been an Olympic level, national level athlete. I have no idea what that feels like and what it takes to be at that level, compete at that level, and be at that level all the time. Because you know, when the match is over, Naomi is still Naomi Osaka, right? She's still dealing with whatever that means. So if she says she needs a mental health break, all respect to you. Number one, thank you for having the bravery to say it publicly, because it's really nobody's business. That's one. Number two, thank you for having the courage to admit it to yourself, because that is sometimes also the hardest step. Admitting, you know what, I can win this, but my mind needs a break, right? And so I think we all need to support her and everybody else who's with the honesty to say, I need to refocus on me and get me better so I can come out and shine and be there for everybody else. At the end of the day, Naomi Osaka is an entertainer. She doesn't owe us anything. When she feels like it, she provides excellent sports play, and she's there and we watch it. We're like, oh, that's amazing. But she is not a clown in the circus. She's not there for our constant entertainment. And if she, as a person, needs time, she's deserved that time, because she owes us nothing. She owes us nothing.
What irritates me is that when a Black woman makes a statement about mental health, needing some time, why is the first thing you say is that she's either disingenuous, or in Simone Biles' case,
yes,
I thought was incredible. I loved her before.
Courage.
I love her even more now.
The courage, yes. The courage
for her to do and say, you know what? I'm not in the right space of mind. I don't want to ruin this for everybody else. I'm gonna go ahead and take a seat back because I need to get myself together. It's just the enormous courage that this beautiful, beautiful girl. I mean, I've never been more proud for her.
Look what happens to people who push through. You gonna Britney Spears them? You gonna make them push through and then want to put them in a conservatorship for the rest of it? No. We understand now that it is not the healthiest thing for someone to push through, again, for our entertainment. Let's be honest. What is the Olympics? For our entertainment. Their mental health is more important than our entertainment.
But here's the problem. The problem I have is when it's a Black person.
Yes.
Who's saying, hey, you know what? This is too much pressure. I need to, I'm off, I'm this or whatever. Why is it disingenuous, Megyn Kelly? And then, the trash that is Piers Morgan makes a statement about Simone Biles and says, oh, you just need to if you're not doing a thing or whatever. So all of a sudden, is that the excuses go? Why is it an excuse? Why is it disingenuous and an excuse? But when a white person, Michael Phelps, decides, well, I'm having a breakdown, this, that, the other. All of a sudden, it's not like, oh my goodness, he's going through so much. He had so much pressure on him. How come you can realize the pressure he had, but you can't realize the pressure that Naomi and Simone have? This is the caucasity for me. This is the two Americas that pisses me off. I don't understand how these beautiful women made a decision. And listen, you know what? For in our Black community, getting therapy and mental health and taking care of yourself are not popular things in our culture.
Exactly. That's why, and I think some people don't understand the bravery, because culturally, it's not always accepted and supported and even like proposed to you, being in many different communities. So for these people coming from the Black community, being at the top of your game as an athlete, being recognized as an American Olympian, it takes true courage to say, I need to take a step back. I need my mind to heal.
Courage.
I have nothing but props to these ladies. And honestly, I think that as a society, this is also a red flag. What are we doing to these people?
Absolutely.
And maybe we need to look at if there's Michael Phelps and Naomi Osaka and, Simone Biles and many other football players who are even saying, like, what are we doing? Because again, this is entertainment. These people aren't saving lives. Why are we breaking them down? And what are we doing to them that is breaking them down? And maybe we need to stop being a part of the problem that's causing this. Because how are you going to cause a problem and then want to criticize somebody for having the problem? Goodbye, Megyn Kelly.
Okay. And Pierce Morgan, you know what you can do?
This is nonsense. He's the same one who came toward the Duchess.
Yeah. Well, because Megyn didn't pass. Yeah, because she didn't want him. So now he's been holding on a grudge for that. And this is the same Pierce Morgan when he was questioned on his show. He ran off the set. Oh, so that wasn't an excuse? Oh, you couldn't take the tough questions, but it's okay for you when you do it. Oh, okay, I see.
Nonsense.
But anyway, y'all trash. And the women that are our stellar women today are Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles. These women are to be treasured and appreciated and supported. And from what I've seen on social media, all the Black people are right here with y'all. And we are all about it. And say something, because we come in the fight.
And you know what? I want to say to our viewers, again, as Nikki said, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also, what's the next thing they need to do, Nikki? I'm not good.
If you like the content of what we got going on,
subscribe, comment.
Leave your comments, questions, and suggestions, and we would like you to make comments and suggestions for what you want to see on the show. We're all about doing that. Okay.
And, from me to you is people who are watching this in this audience. You may have come to a point in your life where you felt really overwhelmed and it was just not a good space. I want you to realize like what you too can have the bravery to do. So let this be a beacon of light. Let this be a role model for you in your life as a school teacher, as a fireman, as a first responder out there on the front lines every day, as a businessman trying to work with this economy as we do research, as a stay-at-home mom trying to figure out what you're going to do with these kids and your husband and your spouse or whatever, as an attorney going into these courts where it's full of COVID. If you get to the point, please let this now be the new standard where it is okay to say, I need to take a break. I need to take a step back. That doesn't mean that you're leaving forever. It doesn't mean that you have failed. What it says is you're prioritizing to heal so you can once again be your best. So I want the viewers to know, take from this that it is okay. Reach out and value yourself enough to be brave enough to say, I value me. I need some time.
Exactly. I'm all about that. So listen,
and we will support you.
We will all day. So we're going to wrap up, and how we're going to wrap up, there's two things I want to say before we go out. And these will be our constant two things to keep you all engaged, right? So we know that voting clearly makes a difference. Okay, we know that. And we also know that legislations, laws are the governing documents and or guidelines that this country is supposed to adhere to, right? And I say supposed to because there's legislation on the books that don't even, if we don't use it in court or bring it up and use it, they don't use it. Anyway, knowing this, it is imperative that we are part of the process, right? Voting and voicing our opinions on legislations and or bills introduced and amendments to legislation that's presented that affects us as a people. Just know that the 14th, 15th amendments, all of those things came out of civil rights, right? Because we pushed and prodded and we fought for things to include us. It's unfortunate that we have to even do it, but that is the reality that we live in. So this is what I'm asking, and this is what we're gonna continue to push, right? Black people are at a pivotal point in this country, and quite frankly, the world, right? We are in a state that we've never been in before as the Black people. We are teetering at the precipice of the ultimate political participation, and the majority group is terrified. When I say that they're terrified, all these legislations, 40-something states brought in these legislations to suppress your vote, right? 40-something states or 13-something states brought anti-rioting bills or what we call anti-protest bills. All of these things, you think that they're doing it just because, oh, well, you know, y'all, this is to keep us under wraps. They are terrified that Black people are using their voices. They're terrified that Black people are running for office more than they've done in decades. They're terrified that Black people have made such an impact to the world, not just the states, but to the world, that you would have marching and protest around the globe because of George Floyd. They're terrified. That majority group wants to make sure they kill any kind of possibility for us to get further. You see that critical race theory that they keep complaining about? Oh, I don't want my children learning about critical race theory. All it is the truth about them, their history, not our history, their history. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know that they killed, raped, and murdered and destroyed Native American families and lineages that will never come to fruition. They don't want you to know that there's lineages and a slew of lives that will never be from Black people. They don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that they even did wrong to each other. They don't want you to know the truth. So they'll be pushing you to give you all these legislations or whatever. They're scared. They're seeing how you all participate. Here are some actionable items that you all need to do to make sure that we continue to put the pressure and keep our foot on their necks, right? Register to vote. Go into your state, look for your supervisor of elections, register to vote. It takes 5 minutes, literally, I'm not lying. All right. Learn who your local representatives are and what they stand for. What I mean by this is this. I know that you all don't have time or whatever, but guess what? Your representatives have Instagram pages. They got Twitter pages. Okay. They got Facebook pages. You ain't got to go far. Type in their names and they'll pop up. They're all into the social media lifestyle, the social media environment. They're all in it. I promise you, your representative has at least a Twitter or an Instagram. Look them up. You can see what they're all about. You can just peruse their Instagram and Twitter and you'll see the little things. And if what you see is what stands for you, then you keep supporting that person. But if you see some things that ain't for you and you keep looking and you don't see nobody that look like you don't see no initiatives that reflects your people or whatever, then you know what to do, right? The next thing is reach out to your reps. When I say reach out to your reps, you can reach out to them through Twitter and Instagram. Send them a direct message. Hey, listen, I just saw this post. What about us?
And Nikki, I wanted to jump in and say, you and I talked about right now, it's a great time to reach out. Several of the representatives down in District 20 in the Miramar area are holding town hall meetings because they actually want the community to come in and give ideas of different things they can pass as bills. I don't know if you guys know, but for the state legislature, it's actually right now in July, the youth have to give them ideas. They start getting ideas of bills and things they want, getting bill numbers, writing language. It's a whole process. And by the time they get to legislature in January, everything's done. So if you have some ideas, if you have some complaints, some qualms, some questions, now's the time to reach out. Again, I know that Chevron Jones is holding a town hall. I know that Marie I almost said Marie Robinson. I'm sorry. But I know that Marie Woodson is holding a town hall meeting. And it's not limited to those two. I know that several other people are doing it. As Nikki said, reach out to your rep, your state senator, your state rep. Now's the time to make a difference. No issue is too small. Remember, Rep Woodson came on here and talked about someone brought to her attention the issue of kids with disabilities whose parents were going through a divorce. That was one person who has now helped the lives of everybody who has that situation in Florida. So whatever you're going through, bring it to their attention. They might be able to help you and everyone else in this state. So this is a great time to get involved right now. Go ahead, Nick.
That is part of that. That is part of that part. participation process that we've been pushing. So it's important that we get into that, okay? Understand the voting process. Like I said, there's several states that have implemented legislation that has changed how voting goes. Make sure you are aware that you are, for our state, I can talk about our state. There was a time where we can just order our ballots for the next few elections. Now we have to order them every single election cycle. So that's one example of why it's important to find out what's going on with your voting. So understand the voting process. There is your supervisor of elections office. I'm not sure if they call it a different thing in other states, but for this state, it's called supervisor of elections. I believe that they have them. I think they should be the same across the board, but if not, look that information up on Google, find out what's the voting process, and make sure you're well versed on that, because apparently there are misdemeanors and crimes associated with bringing in ballots and all that other stuff. See how they're trying to keep you from see how scared they are? So look at that. Also, talk to community leaders, those people you trust, people you've seen around who are, galvanizing groups to organize, to help, push out, information. Those people are a wealth of information too, because they make sure that they're on top of the things, and they can also explain things at the state level that you may not understand. And then the final thing I would like for you all to do is follow our page and pages like ours. There's a whole bunch of people out here keeping you informed, making you know everything, giving you in layman's terms so you don't have to go and do that extra work. That's what's the wonderful thing about social media. So it's important that you kind of get involved that way. And I promise you, the more involved you get, the more vocal you become, and the more changes will happen. We can't do this alone. We need you all to buckle down and come with us on this wonderful ride, because at the end of the day, it's so satisfying that you reach a level in parts of legislation where you had a hand in it, even in the most smallest way. But it's still a satisfying feeling knowing that you're part of the process. Because at the end of the day, don't let nobody else tell you no foolishness. Your vote matters, okay? They are scared of you and your vote. So use your vote. It's your superpower. Use that till you can't use it no more. You hear me? So every week we'll discuss ways to participate that will incorporate in your everyday lives. And that's our dream, and that's our goal, is to get you guys to get into this. I'm telling you, they scared. We got them on the ropes, and we want to keep them there, because they need to understand that we are all on that same level. Ain't nobody bigger than nobody else. If it wasn't for Black women, there wouldn't be a Democratic House, Senate, or administration. Let me make that very, very clear. So don't sleep on your power. Okay, our Black men, y'all coming, y'all creeping up, honey. Y'all almost there with us. So we want 100% Black women and 100% Black men, and they need to understand that our voices combined cannot be ignored. And so that's our goal. That's what we all about. So we're gonna close out. I'm gonna let Kay close us out first before we go. And Kay will tell us what is her parting words for this week. What would you like the people to mull over this week?
So I'm going to actually steal what you usually talk about. And just in case there's anybody who hasn't heard about it, the CDC did just come out with a new update, and you should be wearing masks if you are inside of a building. Now, whether you're vaccinated or not is irrelevant. We want everybody wearing masks if you are inside of a building, just to contain the spread of this current variant, and also maybe curb the spread of any other possible variants. So it's super important. Like you said, this is Florida. This is summer. I personally was out on South Beach maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Honey, people are here from all over the country. Remember, everybody has been waiting for 1.5 years to get out of the house. This is the hot spot. So you got to keep in mind, there's a lot of people in our community from all over the United States and international. It's important for you to protect yourself and the family and your loved ones. And so please, please, please continue to wear a mask. If you haven't been wearing one, it's not too late. You can start wearing one. Several different agencies are actually sending out free masks. So if you don't know where to get one, you can again come to our comments, let us know. We will put you in touch with where to get it. But please mask up. It is so important. We got babies going back to school in 3 weeks, and we need to make sure everybody is healthy as possible. Also, Nikki, I put some stuff in the comments for sites where they can go to register to vote and how to contact Governor Ron DeSantis.
Yes, the Satan has to go. 2022 is his time up. But also in 2022, we're also looking at our senator race. Marco Rubio's seat is up, and Val Demings had decided that she gonna run. So Val Demings is a very, very strong woman who's been in law enforcement, who's been in leadership for several years. So make sure you look her out. Look her up, donate, because we need to get rid of some of these people who are not for everybody. Okay, you can be at a different party, but you gotta represent everyone, whether you like it or not. So Val Demings is a woman that I believe that can do that, and I'm hoping that you all would, participate in her campaign and donate to her campaign, because I believe in what she's talking about. All right, so my parting words is what I usually say that my wonderful, beautiful co-host mentioned. Please wear your mask, okay? And wear it right. Don't be doing this. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Wear it over your nose, okay? This variant is no joke. There's another variant named Lambda that they found in Texas that was originally in another country, and Sandra told me, and I forget, it escapes me now. That's a serious one also. The more that this mutates, the more difficult it gets for them to kind of get this under control. We don't want to be here 3 years, 4 years later, and we're still talking about this virus, okay? The goal is to get rid of this virus, and the only way we can get rid of this virus if we follow the CDC guidelines. Wear your mask indoors, and I would also say outdoors, because, you know, the wind carries. But wear your mask. Wash your hands. Get the babies accustomed to doing it, so if and when they go back to school in August here in Florida, that they know that they have to wash their hands. You know, when you're dealing with children from K through 5, it's very difficult to get them to wash their hands and be in a routine. But if you start now, by the time they get to school, it's going to be something that I got to wash my hands. All right, you know what I mean? These, especially in elementary school, is like a Peachtree dish. You get everything, you know, and these babies, they don't know no better. They babies. And I've been a substitute teacher for years. I go into a school, these babies be like, oh, I don't know. Come over here.
Yes.
All of each other. They don't know no better. They babies.
Nikki, yesterday we went somewhere and my son asked me, can he lick the flagpole? And I just looked at him like, I don't ever remember thinking I was like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, what's wrong with you? What would you want to do that? But in his mind, I was like, oh, that would be cool. You know, so you got to remember, these are babies. I have a first grader. These are babies. The decision making they're making is not really the highest level. So we have to protect them.
We have to.
7.
Even the 5th and the 4th graders, they don't remember, oh, I just touched this.
Right.
And
they don't make the association.
Him, and they looking over each other's shoulder at games on the phone. Oh, let me talk. Let me put my thing in.
Oh, yeah. You know, the phone doesn't have germs. So I wash my hand and I use everybody's phone. And then I don't realize that I've just literally.
It's a cesspool of bacteria. Mm-hmm. I mean, so, you know, get your kids, especially those from K through 5, get them into the routine of washing their hands.
Wearing their mask, get comfortable with the mask on. Nobody likes it. Okay, it's not about liking. Nobody likes it.
I get it. I know. I'm wanting to breathe.
Honey, I got glasses. Nikki, you got glasses. You know, all this all fogged up. It's annoying.
It is, and I get it. But
it's not worth your life.
If we're trying to bring this virus to a halt, we have to stifle it.
Yes.
We have to kill it in its tracks. And the only way we can do that, if we wear our mask, keep the distance. Now they said it for 6 feet to 3 feet. I still say 10 feet. That's me. Wash your hands and just be courteous of your neighbor. Like, you know, just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean that you don't carry the virus.
You carry it.
You know what I mean? You're a carrier. You can carry the virus to other people. And listen, you know, I hear a lot of elected officials, oh, we need to blame the unvaccinated people. I don't believe in blaming them.
Come on now. You can't do that. I'm not blaming anybody.
The president made a comment yesterday or day before yesterday. I didn't appreciate that comment. If you didn't take the vaccine, you're not smarter than I thought. I don't appreciate that comment, Mr. President. I feel like, you know what? Yes, you inherited something like trash. I get it. But now you need to be proactive. And proactive is not making people feel like they're dumb because they didn't take the vaccine. People have a choice to make. If they make a decision, if that decision is what they want to do, that's what they want to do. Whether I agree
I, you know, through the grace of God, am blessed to have friends who unfortunately were going through cancer treatment just as COVID came in. Can't take the vaccine. Can't take it. So you can't say that people are causing it. There's so many different reasons. And
there's so many different reasons.
So many, you don't know people's lives. Let's just be safe.
Let's just be safe. I don't, whether you've taken it, you haven't taken it, that is not my concern. My concern is please wear your mask. Please social distance. And please adhere to the CDC rules. That's all I'm asking. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and keep it moving. That's all I'm asking.
And then we'll be safe, and everybody can go back to school and back to work.
You don't think we want to go? You don't think we want to have a girls' night and go get our drinks on?
Girl, I was gonna say, you don't think I want these kids to go back to school?
I mean, I want my time.
I want my house back.
Okay, so I'm just saying, like, we want it too, but we know we got things to do. Anywho, that is my thing. Okay. If you have any ideas for Call Cassidy Corner, please send us some messages and videos. We will post them and we will give you credit for sending it to us. And we never know, you might want to be on our show one day.
Yes, I was going to say, if you're interested in being on the show, let us know. We reaching out to a couple of people
all about it.
Yeah, we've seen on Instagram and your voices and the things that are important to you. Would you like to come talk about it? We'd love to have you.
Let's do it. Listen, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and we're on Facebook. You can find us, Race and the Races. We're all about getting suggestions, but we are all about participation in the political process.
All things race and politics.
All things race and politics. You have the right, you have the voice, and you are needed and wanted. Never forget that. All right, so until next week, I'll bring our co-hosts. Hopefully all our co-hosts will be back next week.
Yes.
We sure did miss you, Sandra, because you know you are our navigation. You're our navigator.
Sandra.
We miss you, girl. But we can't wait to see you next week.
Yes.
But it was fun with Kay because Kay was like Karen Patrol girl.
Right. You got, I mean, it must be real because it's just happening so much.
And then she said she was gonna leave and run for the office so she could go put her name. Child, Kay had jokes for days. Okay,
you know, you just gotta laugh at some of this stuff. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Stay safe. Stay involved. Safe.
Mask up, and Lord willing, we'll see you all next week. All right.
See you
all
next
right.
week.
Take care. Bye, everybody.
Bye.